Hello, subscribers. Welcome to part 7 of my review of In the Beginning. In this part, I'm actually combining episode 7 and episode 8 into one review because episode 7 was actually so good, I have hardly anything to say about it. It was really hard to find anything to complain about it. It just seems perfectly biblical and plausible. Episode 7 focuses around Ishmael and Abraham having to kick Ishmael out. And the anime does a good job of making it difficult for him to do. And even the one scene that I take some issue with it could be argued that there's a good reason for it. Let's go ahead and watch it.
Stop! This well belongs to the family of Abraham!
Abraham, or whoever you are, come and fight me anytime. I am King Abimelech's man. Oh! Oh! Who did this? Oh! Oh! Who are you? I won't forget this. Yeah!
Did they hurt you? No, I'm all right. Thank you, Master Ishmael.
Now, Abimelech did not attack and take one of Abraham's wells until after Ishmael had already left. It seems like they moved up that scene so that Ishmael could be made into a hero, making it harder for Abraham to give him up. Of course, this does not completely contradict the story, as in the next episode, the well incident happens again, apparently, so they have a whole separate well incident that they still play out. But I still would have preferred them to not do it like this, and have to have two different incidents of Abimelech attacking one of Abraham's wells. I would have preferred they just did something else for Ishmael's character. But one thing they got right that I did not even expect was that Ishmael was an archer. That's one of those things you really don't think about. It's one of those things the Bible just mentions offhandedly, and it never comes up again. So I am glad they at least got that right, which I probably wouldn't have even gotten right if you had asked me to do it from memory. But anyway, other than that, episode 7 is flawless, as far as I could tell. Episode 8, on the other hand, has a few issues. First is something that seems like carryover from the fact that it was made in Japan, and that's this sword worship that they seem to have. And out of the blue, they give Abraham this skill that he's never shown to have.
Isaac, pick up that stick and throw it.
That's great.
When I was young, I used to play just as you do. But now I'm old.
Father,
Yes, son.
when can I have my own sword?
It's still too soon. Too soon. I will choose a sword for you someday. That is, if I can find a proper one.
In all the episodes leading up to this, Abraham is not shown to be some great fighter or martial artist. And the whole picking out a sword for you would have been so much better if it was picking out a wife. That would actually really work well within the story. But they can't do that because they're going to skip over that. They never get to Isaac's wife in this anime. After this episode, they skip straight to Jacob. And that's really sad, because that scene would have been a perfect setup for it if they had just switched sword for wife. But the biggest issue with this episode is, well, this episode is all about the sacrifice of Isaac. And you can probably already guess that they're gonna drop the ball in some way.
Father, what animal are we to sacrifice?
We will prepare one when we get there.
That is not the line Abraham should have said. But technically, that's not where the line should be, so they've got time to fit it in properly. But before that happens, they miss another line.
Sir, what about us?
Stay here.
Take care.
Abraham should have said, "Abide ye here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship, and come again to you." He did not just say, "Wait here." Abraham knew Isaac was coming back. So then we have our second chance at the Lord will provide line.
Now we must build an altar, Isaac.
Yes, sir. But, Father, where is the animal for sacrifice?
The Lord will provide us.
Yes, sir.
That is not how the line goes. Abraham said, "My son, God will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering." It may not sound like much of a difference, but when you know what this is foreshadowing, it's kind of a big deal. Now, even though Abraham knew Isaac was gonna come back with him, it would make sense for the anime to show Abraham struggling with actually going through with the sacrifice. But they should still show some recognition in him that everything's going to work out. And I don't think they did a good job with that. There are also two other issues. One is that Sarah is nowhere to be found in this episode. And I'm pretty highly confident she's still alive at this point. Also, Isaac actually should have been older than that. But to the anime's credit, at least they got Isaac's attitude about the whole thing correct. He was a willing sacrifice. So all in all, still not by any means the worst episode. However, the fox in this episode is the worst in all the episodes. I didn't even want to take any clips from him in this episode. He talks so much more in this episode than any other, and it is such a waste of time. They could have cut out all the Fox's scenes and found time to include Isaac getting his wife. They could have done that with all the amount of scenes they wasted on that fox. So that fox is actually probably my biggest complaint with this episode. And in the next episode, we skip all the way to Joseph having dreams. See you then.